This episode is brought to you by the Dolores Project. The Dolores Project provides 24/7 shelter, supportive housing, and behavioral health services for women, transgender, and non-binary people experiencing homelessness in Denver. The Dolores Project believes everyone deserves a safe place to belong. Their annual fundraiser, Building Belonging, is happening May 7th at Space Gallery in Denver. It's an evening of community, connection, and celebration. Get your tickets now at thedoloresproject.org. Welcome to CityCast Denver. I'm Bree Davies, and here's what Denver's talking about. So today we're going to be discussing how things are going on the downtown redevelopment front and Frank Azar, aka the Strong Arm's latest billboard campaign. Plus, we hear from you, our dear listeners. Producer Paul Caroli, hi.
Hey, what's up, Bree?
And Westward Editor-in-Chief Patty Calhoun, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Before we get into it, we've got a little business to take care of. Again, I want to give a huge shout out to everybody who's already signed up to become a CityCast Denver neighbor during this spring membership campaign. We appreciate you so much. I know this is very annoying, but we love you so much. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for helping us get on to the next stage here with this show, but we're not quite there yet. So officially, our membership campaign wrapped on Friday, but the truth is we're super close to hitting our goals, but we're not quite there yet. So right now, if you are listening, if 136 of you listening joined right now, we would meet our goals and then we could get back to our regularly scheduled programming and stop annoying you. So we would love for you to join us. You get a lot of cool things when you sign up. One of the biggest things, though, is that you're helping this show go.
I would say just if you're out there and you're not a member and you're listening right now, just think, hey, does this matter to me? You know, would my life be better if this was still in it?
Yeah.
Or not?
Do you want it to keep going?
Yeah.
We need you. I was thinking about this because, Paul, I've recently, again, I've tried to step back on my Starbucks usage, drinkage.
You're dialing back down.
Again,
Okay.
I have been for about 3 weeks, so much so that the one time I went to Starbucks in the last 3 weeks, my baristas looked at me like, oh my God, where have you been? Are you okay? And
We missed you.
they do. And I miss them, but
We miss your tips.
I'm saying, yes, which I do every time, but I'm saving a lot of money. And it made me think about the $10 a month that we ask from folks. That's like 1.5 of my Starbucks drinks. So
Wow.
if you're like me and maybe you're dropping some cash somewhere else and you're like, you know what is really important though is local news, maybe put a little of your coffee money towards us instead.
And think about the great stuff you get. You get ad-free listening. You get bonus segments every week.
You get special invites to members-only events where you get to hang out with us. We get to hang out with you. There's so much fun. We have some really great stuff coming in the coming months, and we want you to be there, but you only get invited if you're a member.
And also, I will say, just for you all who have not yet become members, the green pennant that you heard us talking about.
So cute.
I went to bat for you all. It's still available.
Yes.
We are making an exception. Few more days. If you become a member, you can still get the green pennant. We said it was going to be over on Friday. We said that was the last chance. But for you, I negotiated with the membership people and they are going to make the pennants available just a few more days. So sign up now, membership.citycast.fm.
It's $10 a month, $100 a year. And you can support us, get that cool pennant, and get all kinds of other cool stuff. All right, let's move on. Okay, we're talking about the Denver Downtown Development Authority. It's in the news again, and it is again for denying a request for a loan. This time it was for a proposal for a museum of ice cream, which is, these are all over the world, I guess. Have either of you been to a museum of ice cream?
No, but some of our writers have, I will tell you that. And we're unbelievably unimpressed.
Oh, that's too bad. I remember this was one of the big projects when they announced their first batch of projects, the DDA.
You're
The
right.
Museum of
No,
Ice Cream was one of the
It
first
was a
ones.
different ice cream one.
Was it a
Are you
different
sure?
company?
I'm
I
pretty
am
sure it was a
really
Museum of Ice
sure.
Cream because I remember there was a whole nother ice cream thing that was meant
Oh.
to be an experiential.
Actual
Like
ice cream
ice
Which
cream
place.
was
shop.
the first in the first batch announced. So that's the one at 16th and Glenarm, 600,000 or so.
This is
Mhm.
That's
15th
the one
and Market.
going forward. And that is experiential. And I don't really think it played into this one going down. I mean, Denver is an ice cream town, but I think it was a big, big ask for that part of town.
So they asked for the two gentlemen behind proposing this project to landlords here. asked for $6.6 million in a $6.6 million loan to build out this interactive selfie museum at 15th and Market. The $6.6 million would be part of what they say is a projected $25 million project. But Bill Mosier, who oversees the DDDA and runs this thing, said they did not reject the proposal. They declined it. So these gentlemen can come back. And it sounds like Bill is hoping that they ask for less money, is what I took from it. Patty, can you give us just like a TLDR really quick on what the DDDA is for folks who maybe don't remember? We talk about it a lot, but.
So it was set up in 2008, the Downtown Denver Development Authority, in order to fund the renovation of Union Station into a multimodal project. And I think we can all agree that has been pretty successful.
Yeah.
That the Union Station looks great. It was paid off early. And now the idea, and voters approved it a year ago, was to expand the DDA, extend it because it was technically going to sunset, and expand the area so it wasn't just around Union Station, but it went all the way really to almost where we are right now, over to Broadway, into a bigger area. And people could, and they were estimating the pot of money that could come, and it's from expanded property taxes because improvements come to the area. It could be up to $500 million. I think maybe $240 million in projects have been okayed so far. Most of them loans, not outright grants. But they announced the first ones late last summer.
Yeah, I was looking at this. It's kind of interesting how this has been reported differently over time, because back when the downtown residents and I think business owners first voted on it a couple years ago.
November 2024.
Yeah, the reports were all like $570 million of bond money is that they're going to be able to take out against the projected increases in tax revenues. And now the Denver Post in this article I was reading about last week, they say $470 million. So part of this is I wonder if there's a moving target on how much money they're taking out in these bonds against these projected tax revenues and what those projections are looking like over the last couple of years, if the numbers have been shifting as downtown's bounce back story has changed.
Well, we're now at half of that revised projection. I mean, you certainly don't want to overcommit to what you're getting in. So I think they're maybe slowing down a little over what they were talking about, but originally it was going to be over 5 years anyway. But we know that downtown is still slow.
Is it these moving targets that do you think is pushing the DDDA to say no to some of these projects?
No, I think they have gotten more crazy pie in the sky ideas. We know we've seen everything from, bless his heart, the gondola plan to Ferris wheels to so many different let's turn this building into apartments. Let's turn this building into apartments. There are a lot of asks out there, and they are taking them slowly and really looking carefully. And I do think from what I've heard from people who'd been to the Museum of Ice Cream, wasn't worth it. And especially in that part of town, which I know they're saying has some issues, but the 1500 block of Market, always hot for restaurants, always hot for bars. That place will come back. I'm not sure it needed a family ice cream
That's their
selfie
argument.
place.
I would say the two gentlemen behind this.
That's their argument, but I would say it's not an argument I would buy if you've ever spent time on that block. Yeah,
the public benefit, I think, for the DDA can be, you could see it more adding value to the business owners down at the other end of downtown.
Yeah, 16th
which is just
Arm.
slower.
Right.
There's less residential, there's less business happening. But closer to Union Station, like that part of downtown is thriving. At least it looks that way.
Right, exactly. This is the old area that used to be Cafe Giovanni. Remember, like one of the hip restaurants, and there's still so much going on.
I feel like Josh and John's ice cream is over there.
In the
St. Mark's.
1400 block. That it will go back into 1500. I think that's pretty much an area that'll take care of itself.
The location is interesting to me. Like you're saying, there's lots of bar. I mean, that again was the epicenter of bars when I was, in my early 20s. But also, this project would not be operating at that same time. It would be during the day, I would assume. They would be activating the space. And that's what these gentlemen's argument is, like, this is going to bring families back downtown, which I don't know. So this is how Business Den describes the Museum of Ice Cream as not a traditional museum, but instead offers unlimited ice cream and desserts in a series of Instagram-friendly and pink-heavy, quote, playscapes, including what it calls a sprinkle pool, according to its website. I'm not trying to undermine this.
It just makes you want to take a shower, doesn't it?
Yeah,
The
I was like,
sprinkle
not to
pool
undermine
doesn't
this, but
sound good.
I was literally at Colorado Mills yesterday, and this is kind of already the experience.
They got a sprinkle pool over there?
No, but they have a Museum of Nature and Science play area for the kids that's all themed. And then we went to a local boba tea place in there. And it's not as Instagram. It sounds like an Instagram museum, which this first started as
People
a
love that
pop-up.
stuff.
Well, it started as a pop-up in 2016 in the Meatpacking District in New York. Is 10 years later, is this what people still want? I don't.
And is
Yeah,
that
maybe. Museum
is,
of Illusions is very popular.
Right, but that's in a different area too. And if I may say, you got a parking issue. Is a family just going to drive to 1515 Market? Is that the address?
Yeah, that's true because there's nothing
else there unless they walk over from Union Station for this. And I just don't see that as a family during a Tuesday activity.
Yeah, and if there isn't anything else there, I would agree. It's not going to be, that's not enough of a destination for me to bring my kids, down there. And again, just to see that, I don't know, man. So maybe the location was the problem. Although this is not the only project that's been rejected by the DDDA, Paul, right? We've talked.
That's true.
It's been residential conversions.
That's the other big headline story that was rejected was Revesco Properties, which was Reese Duggan is the developer. He was working on the development on where the land that currently is occupied by Elitch's, the River Mile, working with the Kroenke Company about that. And so his proposal to do a residential conversion of office building at 475 17th Street, he wanted a $29 million loan, and that was declined. The DDA said, no thanks.
But the DDA has approved a few other office to residential conversions.
Yeah.
And I think in declining this one, they also said the cost per square foot was very, very high. The ones we're all going to be watching are the Asher Lutzetter ones that were approved for those two towers. And to see, he's got a really unusual plan. I mean, let's knock on wood that it
Vertical
works.
Village guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asher Lozado,
Who had the party there, on the top.
That's right.
Fascinating guy.
That's right. This episode is brought to you by Cozy Earth. Mother's Day is coming up. Maybe you know a mom or a stepmom or a dog mom, or you have a work mom or a mother who you want to celebrate. So why not get them something cozy, like one of Cozy Earth's premium bathrobes? I know what you're thinking. Bathrobes and candles are like standard fare for us mom types. But let me tell you about this robe. It rules. Its pockets are big enough for your hands and a phone, and in my case, maybe a small monster truck that I've picked up off the floor right before stepping on it. It's truly a utility robe. They come in a variety of weights and fabrics: plush, quilted, waffle, or stretch knit. I have the luxe robe, and I've washed it a few times already, and it stayed plush. Paired with my Cozy Earth slippers, which are now my go-to house shoes that I pretty much wear all day, every day, I found two more Cozy Earth things that I can't stop talking about. Let this Mother's Day be a reminder that moms deserve care too. Discover how Cozy Earth turns everyday routines into moments of softness and ease. Head to CozyEarth.com and use our code CozyDenver for an exclusive 20% off. And if you see a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here on CityCast Denver. I did want to read this quote, though, from one of these gentlemen. Dan Hummel, one of the gentlemen behind this proposal for the Museum of Ice Cream, told Business Den, when this program was first announced, he's talking about the DDDA expansion, it was, we are going to provide grants. And then it turned into, we're just going to provide financing. And then what it turned into was, not only do we want payback on all this, but we want collateral, we want guarantees. And we have acquiesced to everything that they've asked us, yet still they won't even take a vote on their project. What did you think about this comment, Patty?
Well, why does everyone get to walk in and get a grant? I mean, I think that was not how this was originally presented. We all looked at it. Some were going to be grants, but most were going to be loans. And the collateral, it's our money. I mean, or it's downtown's money. We'd like to see that. As I understood what happened, it didn't go to a vote because there was an informal request of the board members. Does anyone want to vote for this? And they didn't. No one said, I want to vote for this. So they didn't take the vote, so there wouldn't be a no vote on record. That's how I understand it.
So you, Patty, you talked to Bill Mosher, who's running this project for the mayor's office. What's the vibe on the DDA? What sense do you get from him?
I met with him shortly after the pavilions revelation, talking about when the ULI came in, got $100,000 to do that. If you were at the presentation, it was fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that's what's going to happen, but this is a huge investment for Denver and the DDA to purchase pavilions and, more importantly, purchase the 2 parking lots behind. We won't get into all that since you and I disagree on that.
You're trolling a little bit, but it's okay.
The 2 parking lots behind. So we were talking about that and how it's going. I think it's going slowly because you also run into the permitting issues, even beyond if you wanted to just throw the money. Then businesses that get it, like the Denver Immersive Theater, is talking about things are slow because of permitting and other things. So you run into, even if you get the grant or the financing, you then have to jump through the hoops the city puts you through. So for normal businesses. So I think it's slow, but I have to say a lot of the projects are really interesting so far.
Yeah,
I think the
agree.
pavilions was a smart move. I don't know. It's going to depend on what they do with it, of course. But I think when you sit there, and we were sitting looking at the pavilions, trying to figure out how to activate that part of 16th. And it's right by Glenarm where the other ice cream place is going. And I never loved that one, but I'm feeling better about it. $600,000 for that.
Yeah, I mean, just to get back to the quote that you read, Brie, I thought that was a really interesting quote. It kind of spoke to me of the same kind of thing we've been talking about, like the fact that there have probably been so many applicants with so many compelling projects for all this money.
Really big, wild ideas.
And that the downtown bounce back of the money that actually exists is maybe not as solid as everybody hoped. So that's like, if there is a sense that there's a declining commitment from the DDA that this Dan Hummel guy is talking about, I would say it's one of those 2 things, or both.
Well, and they still have time. Let's remember, we aren't even a year into the grants and the financing and the loans. So we'll see. I think it makes sense to at least look for the things that give you big hits back fast, which is not pavilions, but some of the others, like let's get things activated. When Green Spaces opens, which is also running a little bit behind, but that's going to be very telling how that project works.
Yeah, that was supposed to be open. I mean, same with the Denver Immersive Repertory Theater. I think they told me that was aiming for spring, and now it's looking like summer.
I mean, I personally can't wait for Green Spaces to open. I'd love for us to have a space downtown that we could co-work, But also, it feels so basic, like just some more restaurants, like just really.
And I think
Can you just bring Chili's back?
I think there will be some more applications like that. I mean, I went to Otra Vez, which reopened for the first time in 5 years, and it was jammed. And it was very funny to sit there. It was a nice day in March, but the garage doors were open, and you could like drink there. You could run to Target and shop at 9:00 on a Friday night, or 8:45, I guess, on a Friday night. But the action downtown felt great. But at the pavilions presentation, they said, we're thinking not about weekends, but at 10 a.m. Tuesday. So I went at 10 a.m. last Tuesday and looked at what was happening there.
And
16th Street was incredibly clean. I will say that. It was clean, and they were cleaning the pavilions. They were also fixing the elevators, of course, and we don't know if that worked. But there were some tourists sitting there, or there were some families sitting there. It was largely empty. And that's the challenge. How do you get people out there at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, and at 16th and Glenarm, it's not going to be an ice cream Instagrammable spot at 15th and Market.
Yeah, so maybe it's what kind of project is it, and where is it aiming to be downtown?
And can you get a fast hit? And I think Green Spaces might be one of the first real ones to get a feeling for it. And I think that was an outright grant, wasn't it? Or was that a loan?
I don't remember.
We'll have to look. But that is a local business, bringing in local businesses. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah, a fast win, that's what to watch for. Because, I mean, how this aligns with politics is going to be something to think about over the next year. The mayor's probably going to be running for re-election in about a year, is when that vote will be. So he's going to want to have something that he can point to and say, the downtown recovery plan is working.
It's like it's in process, and we're already seeing results.
Look at this. It's,
right.
Johnston's downtown is ice cream city.
Is paying for the mounted horses and more street patrol. That's a double. That's the second time that's been granted. They're doing the overhead. It's not drones, right? It's It's some light.
Yes, no, the art display. It's
the
like a
art display
shimmering cloud fabric thing.
Coming this summer. And that's another let's get people downtown. So that's been okayed. And I'd heard they were going to wait on any cultural requests for a while, but they did that one. And that's an immediate hit this summer.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I had forgotten all about that. But
I think
saw
that'll
the one
be
down
very
in
interesting.
Green Mountain Falls, and it was beautiful a couple years ago. Yeah, gorgeous thing.
Well, we'd love to know what you think too. Would you go to the Museum of Ice Cream? Is there something, again, that seems to still be missing from downtown that you would love to see the DDDA maybe partially fund or help come to fruition? Give us a call, 720-500-5418. Leave us a voicemail, which we love, or send us a text, or shoot us an email, denver@citycast.fm, and let us know what you think. Okay, next topic. Frank Azar, the strong arm. So he's a local celebrity and he's got this new batch of billboards up. And I do want to just give credit to my husband, Greg, who's just noticed them last week and started photographing them. They're upside down, which could be a mistake, but then he saw a second one. And then there was a third one he saw that said 6'7" and a picture of Frank Azar.
With his hands out.
Yes.
He was doing the thing.
Yes. My 4-year-old already does 6'7" to me, if you want to know where popular culture is right now.
Is he still doing it, or was that kind of like a last year thing? Because when I saw the Azar billboard, I was like, I wonder if that's already over for kids.
It is
I think it is over.
Unless you're
but
4.
for Frank Azar, or if you're 4 years old, it's where you're at. But I don't know. I just had us thinking again about this particular person in Denver lore. Patty, have you met Frank Azar?
I have met Frank Azar because, as we all learn, Denver is really a small town in many ways. And so Alan Prendergast, longtime Westward staff writer, is Frank Azar's cousin.
That is a very Denver story.
It's an old Trinidad family, Frank Azar. He's got a fascinating background that way.
Oh.
I mean, we all know how hard-scrabbled Trinidad has been over the years. And Frank Azar is from there. So that's really interesting. But in one of those small world things, we were doing an alternative newspaper writers training in Las Vegas a couple of years ago, probably 10 years ago. And Frank Azar happened to be gambling in Las Vegas, and I met him.
What's he like?
He's a very good gambler.
Oh, good for him.
I am not.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, though.
Yeah, but it was
Seems like a good businessman.
Mm-hmm. He's a good businessman. I met him because Alan was also teaching at, he and I were both teaching at this writer's workshop. And Frank just happened to be there. So we met up with him later in the day. And it was crazy to have that connection, like alternative newspaper people, Frank Azar. But
yeah. Oh, gosh, that's so funny.
Well, Paul, maybe for folks who don't, we're just talking about Frank Azar as if everyone knows who he is. If people don't know, who is this gentleman?
It's a name people know. And they would maybe know him as the strong arm of the law, although he has since downplayed that.
Oh, he has?
Yeah,
well, there was the guy who lifted the strong arm line too. So copyright issue.
This world of plaintiff defense, lawyers who do this kind of work, this
personal
kind of
injury
huge
attorneys.
volume, personal injury. There's lawsuits. It's competitive over the SEO, and he was involved in one of these lawsuits a couple years ago. And that was around the time that 5280 Magazine did a great profile of Frank Azar. We'll put a link in the show notes. And I just wanted to talk about some of these details.
Tell us more about Frank.
Well, Frank, like Patty said, from Trinidad, got his law degree from DU in 1982, opened Azar and Associates in Denver 1987. Quoting from the 5280 piece, he built a successful firm over the next 3 years, but has to spend much of his 16-hour days looking for people to represent by networking at clubs, restaurants, and golf courses. I knew how to do the cases, Azar says. It was just getting the business that was hard. And so that's why he started getting into TV ads after he got a tip from one of the more famous lawyers who do this work in New Orleans, Morris Bart, who had an ad producer named Richard Sackett, who came up with this slogan, "One call, that's all," which I guess is very famous in New Orleans.
I mean, I get it. It's like our Frank Azar or Brian Bulldog Moore from back in the day, or Mike Sawaya, or
it's like the mirror.
Anderson Hammond Levine.
And there was one
McDivitt,
even more famous earlier, but I can't remember who that was. I'm going to come back on it.
Brian Bulldog Moore was the big one.
No, there's one even
another
before
one?
then. I'll have to find it. Probably predates our internet, which is where my mind ends. But what's interesting about Frank Azar, because he is so omnipresent he does some social media, but the billboards and the TV ads, I would guess after John Elway, he is the best known celebrity in Metro Denver. If you had to put out names, Elway would
After
probably
Elway?
still be first, but I think he would be second.
That's an interesting question.
Think about it. Who would be more?
I wonder though, with the rise of streaming and the lack of just regular broadcast TV, if these people are as famous as they were 20 years
Well,
ago.
we'll have to do a poll. I don't think so because, billboards, you've got to drive by them to see them. TV, you've got to see it. But
I just
who would
remember
be
being
more?
bombarded with them as a
Mhm.
kid that watched a lot of daytime talk show television. These commercials were Norton Fricky. Is that who you're thinking of?
That is it. Thank
Okay.
you, Norton Fricky.
Another past injury attorney. This is just a big industry that that does a lot of commercial work.
And there were studios here that specialized in doing
Making those.
Norton Fricky set it up for a lot of different lawyers, which is why I was thinking about that.
Fascinating.
We did a story pre-internet, so you're not going to see it.
Yeah, this Frank Azar guy, he's just like, he's kind of omnipresent. Like, it's not just the billboards. Once you start thinking about his name, I've just asked people about him sometimes. Like, he came up when I was doing some reporting on the slaughterhouse ban a couple years ago. Like, I remember he was representing some of the workers at Superior Farms in a case that they had at one point. And like, there was another instance. Oh gosh,
I mean,
what was
he's
it?
done a lot of very unusual cases. They're not just hit and runs. They're not just truck accidents. He's got a lot of interesting cases. I was at a Latino comedy show where the comic, and I can't remember who he was, said that he was the most famous Latino in Denver next to Frank Azar, who was not Latino. But I thought maybe that was the joke. I wasn't sure. But I'm challenging you. I think he would be number 2 next to Elway.
I don't even know if Elway's number 1, to be
Well, I know
honest.
there
That's
is
what I'm
that
thinking
now.
of, because it's been a minute for him. Apparently, Azar's firm handles 4,000 to 6,000 car-related injury cases each year. That's another detail from 5280 magazine. 4,000 to 6,000 a year. Think about how many that is per day.
That's like a factory of cases.
He has 300 employees. It's like a big business, this thing. And he gives back a lot to Trinidad, especially. 5280 reported he financed a $250,000 scholarship fund at Trinidad State College, an after-school program. The other great detail I've learned about Frank Azar, I was watching a reality show about Mark Wahlberg and his restaurant business investments, and he was doing an investment in some grocery store thing in Portland, and then he calls up his co-investor buddy who he likes to do business with. And who is it but lawyer Frank Azar from Denver, who is now
I'd die
in
to
this
know
show.
how they met.
It's ridiculous. When he popped up, I freaking screamed on my couch. It was a Mark Wahlberg show, and there's Azar.
That's
What?
wild.
All right,
But
that
apparently they're
beats
buds.
gambling in Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
maybe
wanna
that's
know
how they met.
became buddies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe in Vegas gambling. I don't know.
This is wild.
Yeah.
Well, if you've seen any of these billboards too, let us know. Let us know what you think. I don't know. Do you guys have any speculation on these billboards just in general?
I mean, he's just a good marketer.
Yeah,
You know,
same.
it's a trend. He jumped on the 6-7 trend. The upside down thing is like, what is that? I want to know about that. It's just smart. He's got a good sense for how to reach people and how to be memorable. And I mean, one,
Well,
it's
here we are talking about
spending
him.
a crap ton of money. But yeah, I mean, we should put his phone number in the show notes. You know what I actually want to know? If you've worked with him, has he won you a case, or have you had any kind of experience with
I'd
him
be so
through
curious.
his actual the legal services that he offers?
Yeah, I'd be really interested. Give us a call, 720-500-5418. Let us know. Are you familiar with the strong arm? Did he work on your case? Let us know.
Can I do one more detail from 5280?
Sure.
Okay, quote, Azar idolizes larger-than-life characters. Portraits of John Wayne and the Rat Pack hang on his walls. The door to his office, a massive wooden entryway lined with brown buttoned leather and featuring a gold nameplate that announces an impending audience with Franklin D. Azar, was made to resemble the one MI6 boss M uses in the early James Bond films. Great character detail. Love that.
This just feels like those are things you can get at the flea market. Like that type of vibe, I'm just thinking about like the Marilyn Monroe tatted tattoo, or the Scarface posters or the Rat Pack posters.
Yeah, portrait of John Wayne.
John Wayne.
And the Rat Pack.
That's certainly a choice.
It's a guy. He's interesting. He's a Denverite.
But yeah, Azar, interesting guy. Okay, we are going to take a little time now to hear from you all, our listeners. We love to hear from you. Again, on any of the topics we've talked about over the years or the last few weeks, over the last few days. We love when you let us know what you're thinking about. Paul, we want to do one of these with Patty?
Yes. This is a great question for you, Patty.
Okay.
This is from longtime listener John H., who is responding to a segment we did just for members last week. Sorry if you missed it. You know how to get it. Membership.citycast.fm. Don't miss another one. But John H. says, here's my bucket list Denver meals. So the prompt was, if you had to leave Denver in a week, what are the places you'd have to hit?
The three places.
The three
Restaurants.
bites you wanted,
Yes.
or the 3 sips or whatever. John H's, which, these are great picks. So John, just to give you a little time, Patty, to think about it. But John H's are jalapeno cream cheese bison burger at my brother's bar.
Nice.
Sugar steak at Bastion's.
Oh, yeah.
Chili relleno burrito at El Taco de Mexico. And he threw in a fourth one. I guess, I guess we'll give it to him. But anything Kevin Wynn would order from Chiquita. Kevin Wynn, the restaurant ambiance architect, who was on the show a couple of months. Yeah, just taking Kevin's recommendation.
I'm talking to that man. He eats at all of these restaurants, so he knows
He has good taste.
the good stuff. Patty, any thoughts on what you'd have to have before you?
I'd have to agree with my brothers.
Okay.
So JCB, probably the Johnny Burger instead.
Okay.
But I would have to agree on that for ambiance, for all of it.
Also, they serve my favorite sport tea there. Just want to put that out there.
Sport tea.
It's a local tea. I've talked about it on our show
you have
before,
talked
and they
about
serve it. It's great.
That's
If
cool.
I didn't have to make a reservation and I didn't have to pay, I would think strongly about Sushi Den, both for nostalgia, but for the being the organization that brought real sushi to this town, still continues to have the real level that everyone ascribes to. So Sushi Den, has that whole block on Pearl, but I would think about a lot of sushi at Sushi Den.
Okay, that's a pretty good pick. It's 2 good ones.
I mean, I thought about sushi when we did this list, and mine would be Sasa, and Sasa's not
It's
open
gone.
anymore.
Yeah, it's gone.
You can
So
go
I
to
thought
Tai
about that.
Tai, but
Mhm.
not quite
No,
the
I
same.
thought, if you could find the right spot and just sit at the Pearl Street,
It's beautiful.
on Pearl Street. I like Bastions. I would actually think again about gathering a group of people and sitting in the private room, or it's just a little dining room at Bistro Vendôme, drinking a lot of champagne, eating that
yeah.
food. Love the owners of that place, and their food's great.
Jen
and just
Jasinski,
just
Beth Gruch.
being in a community with this
Good call.
woman-owned company, yeah, they're great. I loved
That's a
it when
good
it was in
one.
Larimer Square, but now I do like that spot.
You're not going to go to La Fiesta and have your own plate before you leave?
Shoot, I forgot about La Fiesta.
Or Wynkoop
Or
and have
Wynkoop
your
and
own
have your own beer?
La Fiesta, I would have a party in the parking lot.
I mean, I had my wedding there. It's a
You
great
did.
place to
It's
have
a great
a-
place.
I think I actually have to amend my list. Last week, I said Cuba was one of mine because I'd never been there.
That was
and I
a
had
petty.
a weird
I
beef
thought that
with
was your
them.
petty beef.
Well, I wanted
Okay.
to move past my beef, but it turns out my mom listened to that and she texted me and she was like, "You have been to Cuba."
Oh, that's
So
good.
I just forgot. So I probably shouldn't put them on my list of 3, and I'm going to swap on the wooden spoon
Oh, that's good.
and the
nice.
carrot cake.
Mhm.
I've always loved that place.
Yes.
My wife and I, we got that carrot cake for our wedding, and I would want to have that one more time.
Yeah, I struggled with the Bastion's sugar steak because I thought Bastion's for sugar steak, Columbine Steakhouse for a steak, or Poppy's where I was the other night for a steak. And again, I love Poppy's, but it was well, we were there at 4:00 to be fair, so it was a million
Mhm.
older folks.
Right. Like it really is your last meal.
But yeah, that's a tough. The steak one was tough. Sugar steak, I agree though. That is such a
I
great.
mean, that's a great list
a
from
great
John.
place.
Good
Yeah,
call.
good job,
up
John.
And down.
We like that.
All right. Well,
Okay.
that's the show.
All right.
Help us hit our membership goal. If you're
Please.
not a member, please do sign up. Membership.citycast.fm. Get that pennant.
Tell us who's more famous than Frank Azar and John Elway.
Who is your top 3 famous people in Denver current day? Like who is this what we're talking about?
Right.
Like
Current
most
Denverites?
Like if you
most
stop,
or,
Our
or the
ranking.
most famous in this moment. Like who you think of in this
Yes.
moment, not of all time or
no,
know.
if you stopped someone outside this building
Right
right,
now.
now and gave them 10 names.
How is there some way we could like rank this authoritatively? I normally go to Google Trends for something like this.
It's so hyper specific to me depending on what you're into because I think some people might say like I don't know Nathaniel Rateliff.
I was going to say that.
I mean,
too.
that man plays Red Rocks and Mission Ballroom and like
So it would depend on where, maybe do it on 16th Street at 10 a.m. on a
Stop people.
Tuesday and see
Mm.
in front of the pavilion, see what happens.
Okay, so I plugged in Rateliff and Elway and Azar into Google Trends. And Elway, you know what? It goes back and forth, honestly. That's a pretty tight race between those 3. it does look like Azar is mostly ahead. Although the search traffic, I think, is an advantage for him. People are searching his name because of the billboards.
Because they need a lawyer.
Because they got in a car accident.
And he's optimizing it for that SEO, which is a little different.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
All right,
he wins
let's
Google
figure out
Trends.
how we can do this. I think it's worth doing.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And then maybe we can do the top 10 dendrites of all time.
Of all time. See, that's different, I think,
For the
versus in the
150
moment what people think.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we'll work on that
that's
show.
That's
That's the show. Well, Patty, thank you.
My
Paul,
pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed this show, why not take a minute to tell Frank Azar about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to our morning newsletter at denver.citycast.fm. And hey, thank you so much to our new neighbors, Christina N., Mindy S., Michaela G., Pamela W., Pepper G., Miranda M., Ann B., Josh B., Stacy W., Maggie W., Shanna S., Tyler M., Ryan D., Alec B., James L., Lisa W., and my friend Arnie S. What's up, dude? Thank you. All of you, thank you, who just joined our membership program. You can join them right now, too, and support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Denver neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See you later.